Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So this is what we looked like. If we go to the 30-minute chart, we had the 570 calls for this week. And what do we know by looking at this chart right here? We know the bulls had the trend, and we're only focused on the long side because with 10's above the 50 on the calls, that means we're bullish. No interest in shorting in this type of market. So, yeah, with that in mind, all we were looking for today was a negative cross on puts off of the open, because if we go here on the these are the wrong ones, these are not the 0-day chart. Right off open, the puts ended up crossing, and since we are in a bullish market, I'm not taking that trade. So yeah, you can see right off open we got this gap up on these contracts, he's crossed, and I'm not taking this trade. Why? Because we know the trend's bullish. On the 30-minute, we're sitting right at the 50 SMA, which is a key pivot on that Friday chart, and we just wait for this chart to go negative to toss longs on the table. So once we start getting this negative cross right here, I took an entry. I got somewhat of an early entry on this. I think I entered somewhere around like 0.90 to 0.95 on these contracts, and they popped up a little bit into this 10 SMA, and I actually added some more. So I'll show you guys the screenshot of where I added. I went short, or not short, I went long at 10.25. So that was at the start of this candle right here. I was long, and I ended up adding on this pullback. So if we look here, this is what the actual chart looked like right on this pullback that we got. This was a picture perfect ad that we got. I told Discord I was adding some more here. Added right at the 10 SMA tap, and our stop loss is a closure above that 50 SMA. If we got back up with the 50, I would have stopped out. I think the most I was down was like 30 points at one point, and then I added some more right here, brought my average down a little bit, and yeah, we got a very nice move out of it. Very clean move. I'm trying to find the picture of if there was an updated one that I sent, but it was very clean negative cross. That's a trade you want to take. I think I literally went over this trade yesterday, that this was like a very high conviction trade for me. When we pull down in that 50 SMA and we are crossed on puts, wait for that chart to go negative, and that pretty much confirms that we're going to bounce on that chart. But yeah, I'm trying to find the picture real quick of like the immediate rejection. Yeah, so you can see right here we immediately rejected off that 10 SMA as soon as we added. Very nice move, very good trade, and that's the only trade I did call out today. I was busy in the afternoon, so it wasn't on the charts, but I did tell Discord if we did get that call across, you could take it because we are in a bullish trend, and yeah, focus is on the long. So out of this trade we got, I think I closed it all for 80 points, and I trimmed portion at 50 points. That's usually what I always do. We hit 50 points on the trade, I take a trim unless we're getting a cross in a bullish market, and market looks really good, and I'm looking to hold it for like 60 to 70 points. But price action wasn't the fastest, or volatility wasn't the craziest or anything like that today. So 50 points, I'll take some off the table, move my stop up, and then just hold the rest for higher. So yeah, that's what this chart looked like. And then we go to the call side real quick. This is what we got on the calls. So the 564 calls was what we had today, and I ended up selling the remainder of my long on this candle right here. We're coming near the 50. I held this trade for so long too. I wasn't in a much size after I got that initial trim off, but we came lower. Not lower, we came higher on these contracts. I took it off up here. I was up like 80 points, so I was good, close enough to the 50. If it chopped up a little bit higher, but ultimately we really didn't get much higher than we already were. So that was a good spot to sell. And then all you had to do, wait for the call cross. We got the call cross, and here it is. We got the 10 going above the 50. Obviously, you don't enter once that crosses. You have to wait for the 50 to curl. 50 curled down in here. You could have got an entry on this candle, or a pullback to the 10 right here. I mean, this was pretty much the pullback. This was your low risk entry. And then we just obviously held this 10 the whole way. Always held the 50 the whole way too. So that gave some points. You probably could have squeezed like 50, like 40. I think you definitely got 50 points out of this trade when I looked at the chart. So trail that stop up after you're up a good amount, and you would have got stopped break even on the rest. And we didn't hold that 50 SMA. Obviously we are in a bullish market, but you could have gave that a go if you wanted. Obviously you would have got stopped out if you did. That is getting towards the end of the day though. What time is that? 15. Yeah, okay, never mind. That's the last hour of the day. I wouldn't be buying that at all. Last hour of the day, wouldn't be buying 50 dips, but this cross paid out. or played out perfectly, and then that negative cross on the put side also worked. So those are the trades we took today. It's very simple, man. We know what side to trade with when we have the system. It's very, very easy to understand. But when we look at these charts now, it's a very funky chart on the 30-minute. Like, this chart is very ugly. 10's going below the 50. The 50 still sloped up a little bit. So, tomorrow looks like that the bulls are going to lose this trend and the market's going to get set neutral unless we get a big gap up tomorrow and we get back above the 10 to 50. But for now, pretty much going to be a neutral market, I'd imagine, for tomorrow. So with that in mind, just look for a 0-day cross on either side of the premium. We still have these 50 SMAs on the higher time frames right here on the 2 hour, the 1 hour as well. We're right at 50's turning down a tiny bit, but we'll have to see how we open up tomorrow. This 30-minute chart will pretty much give the direction of what we want to be trading, but I'd imagine neutral market tomorrow. So 0-day cross either side of the premium, negative cross on either side of the premium. But yeah, it's a very simple plan. There's no trend really in the market because we know this 30-minute chart's pretty funky. If it was still crossed, I'd say we're bullish, but we're not. So 10's going below 50, and bulls would have to reclaim the 50 SMA, and the 10 has to get back above the 50 to be back bullish. So that's the plan going into tomorrow. We have FOMC on Wednesdays, so it might be a choppy day tomorrow. Wouldn't be expecting anything crazy before FOMC. I'll probably just look for one solid trade, and whatever happens at that trade, pack it up at that, and just move on next day. So that's what we did today. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like, drop a sub. If you guys got any questions, drop a comment in the comment section below. Join the Discord, ask a question in there because there's a free section as well. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Peace.